Good morning. And we look, watch, and hear news about our government, good, bad. But I'm going to talk to you about today something which would concern you. It would amaze you. It would also sadden you. Imagine that you or your friend are going on nicely and you expect that after some days, after some months, after a couple of years, you are going to have a deficit. And then what do? You start working. You start earning. You start inviting investment. But in case you don't do that, then what do? You've got to live. You've got to pay the bills. So you start selling your furniture. You start selling your assets. And that is the first step towards bankruptcy. Normally, this is the last resort. And we never sell our estate, especially real estate, or business which is paying extremely well to the others for a small money or a windfall, you can call it, and forego all the profit that we are going to have in future. But our governments here work in a different way. They think that the ordinary human situations do not pertain to them. We are the very sad state of affairs here in Ontario when the government disposed of and privatized Hydro One. The result was A. The government was deprived of the revenue that would have accrued to it, but now was accruing to the private parties. B. Which is worse, and that is that the cost of hydro started going up, with the result that the government had to take steps to ensure that Hydro One remains remunerative to the buyers. Now, I'm not talking about the shady deals. That's something different. We are aware of whatever the deals might have been taken place. But that's not the concern today. The concern is we sold the prime spots, the prime business, the monopolistic business. Nobody ever sells a monopoly. But Ontario Liberal government did. And now I'm going to tell you something which will shock you. The news is still not public. But I was talking to some people and I came to know that very surreptitiously, very confidentially, very quietly, the federal government has hired financial institutions to do a feasible study. And the financial institutions is not one of the 6 top Canadian banks. The consulting organization is not one based in Canada. It is a foreign organization based in Switzerland, which has been hired by the federal government. Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse is a bank incorporated in Switzerland, and that has been hired to do and find out the ways and means to sell the most profitable business in Canada. Can you believe what it is? It is the airports, which as a real estate are great, and as a business they are great. Thousands of the aircraft pay the parking fee. The money from the airplanes, the money from the shops, the fees, is unimaginable. No airport is ever gone into a loss. And this cash cow is sought to be sold. Now this action of government does raise some eyebrows and does raise some questions. The first question is, what's the need to sell it? Why sell your prime real estate as well as a monopolistic business? Again, it's a monopoly. And that business which is increasing, which is the only business which has never gone into a recession. Why do it? That is the main question. The second question, why was the study entrusted to Credit Suisse and not to a Canadian institution or a Canadian organization? Does the government mean that the Canadian institutions or the Canadian organizations are not responsible and not capable enough? Was a global tender floated? As a matter of fact, for such actions, global tenders are not floated, but tenders are released. To the best of my knowledge, there has been no release of any RFP. RFPs are a normal mode of calling in to check the expertise and the capability of the contending parties. It's an open process, it's a fair process. So why a selection of a banker or a consulting organization which has no stake here in the welfare of Canada and which belongs to a country that is famous for its chocolates and also for storing black money? Thirdly, why was this done so surreptitiously, so secretly? Fourthly, did the Prime Minister or the Transport Minister take the House into confidence? And last of all, why was this fact hidden from the people, the voters, the nation? Why is it that the nation should not be prepared for this onslaught? Why should they be faced with a fate, a comply, a finished fact, an achieved fact by the end of the year? Because you will see by the end of the year, the thing would happen. All these questions, myriad questions, many questions, are puzzling the minds of the people who are aware. Those who are not aware are blissful. Here it is, ignorance is a bliss. You are not aware, so you are happy. You are happy with the selfies, you are happy with the Prime Minister taking off the shirt and taking a selfie. Wow, what a great man he is with fine abs and tattoos. But, the question is, we are selling a monopolistic, profitable business, and that too through the medium of a foreign organization. And that reflects badly on our banking system. We say that we have the best banking system in the world. And if we have the best banking system and we have the best expertise, why go to Credit Suisse for that? Why not to TD Canada? Or why not to KPMG? Or why not to Deloitte and Touche? These organizations have been hired umpteen times by the governments all over the world, by the United Nations, by the private sector, or for any of the 6 remaining banks. By choosing Credit Suisse, government has shown its sense of lack of confidence in these institutions. And that thereby it has sent a signal all over that we can say all right that our institutions are great. But the reality is not so. It's very unfortunate. Now comes the second part. And that is, why was it done surreptitiously? This is a question which nobody can answer except the people who took it. And the most important is the need to do it. There are ways and ways of generating funds. Selling your assets is not the proper way. Any housewife will tell you that. This is the way of the desperation. This is the way of incapable thought and irresponsible behavior. You see, quite possible that Credit Suisse might say, don't sell it. But even the very thought entering the minds of the powers that be shows their attitudes very careless, irresponsible as far as the national assets are concerned. We don't do that business that way. We don't live that way. We don't declare our bankruptcy to the world. And don't forget, it could easily have been done the other way. The best way of attracting investment is privatize infrastructure building. Let the people, the tender be given that the highways are to be rebuilt and the bridges are to be rebuilt. They'll come and invest money. Of course, when the private sector does it, they'll want the tolls. Tell them, build, operate, own. BOO. That's the principle. That's the principle which is extremely useful. You get an excellent infrastructure without spending anything and create jobs. So the money is there, the jobs are there, the economic growth is there. The concept of BOO, and you can add it, BOOT, build, operate, own, transfer. At the end of 20 years, the project, other product, other infrastructure built is transferred to the nation. They have earned their life, the profit for the 20 years, enough is enough. And that process has been adopted all over the world. So why can't we do it? The moment we had booed, you see then what happens is when you give it to the private parties and you tell them to do it, the way 407 has been done, it's an excellent thing. It was done nationally, let's do it internationally. Let's invite the people from all over the world to come and invest it and give them the freedom to do it. But to sell or to privatize your prime monopolistic business, that's not the way. As I said, there's a way of desperation, and that shows the lack of understanding of the national need and the national honor. We are actually demoralizing our nation, and that is something which is not done. We have got to ensure that the situation is not that bad, that there is still hope that we are better than hundreds and countries. We are among the G8. We have got the finest banking system. Let's not take measures that undermine the prestige, the respect, and economy of the country. If we do it on our peril, and that is not acceptable. Thank you.